If you want some, Steve, I'll give it you. Do you want some? How we doing, everybody? It's Kev Ashford back in the van for another Van Cam road trip here on the biggest Man United fan channel in the land. This is the United Stand. This is your match day vibes. It's where Kev builds you up, gets you all confident and convinces you that Manchester United are actually going to win this game. And then we probably won't. Down with the negativity. This is your preview for Manchester United against Brighton. And let me just say, from my perspective at this moment in time, especially from what I've seen on Thursday against Southampton, this will be a difficult game. And it will be a difficult game because Brighton are a really good outfit, really well-run club. The players that they bring into the club, the recruitment is absolutely bang on. And they do have a style, an identity, and they go about their business. I really do. Really good football team. They've got that identity, so they're able to sign players to fit the system. And this is really in stark contrast to Manchester United. This is what Ruben Amorim is trying to do at United. Well, let's rewind a little bit and we'll look at... It's good that, wasn't it? And we'll look back at Thursday, and that was a 3-1 result. It's one that if you hadn't have watched the game, you'd have seen 3-1 Manchester United, and you would have gone, wow, very nice. Nice result. We win game. We did win the game, but we did not deserve to win it. And I know people will say you make your own luck in this game. Ahmad gets the hat-trick. We left it late, but for large parts of this game, that team really did let us down. And it was hard to kind of come up in your head to look and think, who were the team that are rock bottom of the league? Because for large parts, it looked like it was Man United, the way we were playing. Southampton, absolute credit to them, absolutely played us off the park for large parts of this game. Euro was absolutely terrorised. They come at us. The midfield of ours with Menu and Ugarte for some reason didn't work. Was it an off day? I'd love to say, yeah, it was an off day. Now, if we were up near the top challenging, I know we're not, but if we were, then this is one of them games where you put it down and say, sign of a good team that. Don't play well, but get the 3 points. Well, the point that we're at the minute, I'm confused, man. Because I'm thinking, how do you go to the Etihad and win? You know, how do you go to Anfield, put in a great performance and get a 2-2 draw? How do you knock Arsenal out of the FA Cup when you're down to 10 men for what, an hour? And you're playing against 12 because they even had a referee on their side as well. You know, and that was impressive. So Southampton, to me, was the kind of game I looked at and I thought, these are the games we should be winning. And I know we did, but in isolation, when you look back, the performance wasn't there, and that really does worry me. And Ruben Amorim alluded to this coming into that game by saying he was worried about this game. And I know what he meant by that is these are the games over the Christmas period, your Wolves, your Bournemouths. Newcastle was a bit different because Newcastle are fighting for top 4. They are a decent team as well. But it was this drop-off, the intensity for these games. And is it a mentality thing where the players can get up for the bigger games, but they take the foot off the pedal, their eye off the goal or whatever? And yeah, I mean, at this moment in time, I am confused as to how we can get results like that. The consistency level is not there, and that's something that Ruben Amorim clearly wants to improve at Man United. Do us a favour, make sure to finger that like button. And thanks very much for last week. Loads of likes on the video, which is great for this video and for the United Stand. So thank you very much. But there is loads of talking points at this moment in time. We're seeing that Garnacho, yes, he started against Southampton. Was Amorim putting him in the shop window? Can he ever be a number 10 at Manchester United? Would you sell Garnacho? You know, it's something we discussed on the fan forum straight after that game. We were trying to nail down a kind of figure that we would, you know, if it was 60 million, I don't know, 70 million. The market, it's hard to kind of come up with a kind of figure on Garnacho. But, you know, he is young. Could he possibly become a number 10 in this system? That's one for the comment section. So make sure you get in and let me know, would you sell Garnacho? Because I think it is a big talking point. Another big talking point from that game was obviously shall we? I don't know how do I play this one. Hoyland, let's address the elephant in the room. The elephant in the van. There's a big elephant here. No, there's not. Let's address the elephant in the room, which is Rasmus Højlund. He's had a couple of difficult games, in fairness to him. Away to Anfield, away at the Emirates to Arsenal. It's always going to be a difficult job, but this moment in time, I don't think that he's making things easy for himself. First touch, non-existent, it's not there. And when you've got a player like that, you want him to hold up the ball. You know, he spends half his time on the deck, which is getting pretty infuriating. I don't mind if he's winning fouls up that end of the field, but he does seem to be a little bit like Bambi on ice. You know, there's more chance of him, I talk about the Ballon d'Or, you know, winning the fell on the floor kind of trophy at this minute in time because he spends that much time there. But am I being too harsh on Højlund? The big debate at this moment in time is we are not heavily stacked in this area, and this is where it falls down. And you look at the previous regime, we should have brought somebody else in, another striker. And yes, I can hear you now, Kev, we brought in Joshua Zirkzee. Joshua Zirkzee, for me, is not a striker, but he offers something totally different to Rasmus Højlund. Now, is he just an impact player? Zirkzee coming off the bench against Southampton, for me, totally transformed and changed that game. Yes, Ahmad got all the plaudits for scoring the, what is it, the second quickest United hat-trick after Teddy Sheringham. But the plaudits really should have gone to Zirkzee. Game changer. He come in, and yes, he's not going to be that focal point of the team, but if you're going to play with a kind of false nine, that's what he kind of is. He's in between a 9 and a 10. He's playing in that area where then he brings in the number 10s and the wing backs. And you have to look at that and think, well, it absolutely works because Zirkzee drops in. He's able to spin, turn. Once he gets the ball down, he's spraying passes out to Ahmad, whoever it is out on the left side. If we've got Bruno in the 10, Garnacho, whoever it is, he is having an effect on the game because he's bringing these players into play. And United look totally different when Zirkzee is in the mood. Would you start Joshua Zirkzee over Rasmus Højlund? I don't think even in terms of you did a poll, it would be that close because I think it's easy for us to get carried away on the back of a cameo performance. But for me, Zirkzee does deserve to start that game. But again, I'll be interested to see if Zirkzee does start, if he can have the same impact he does as coming off the bench, because we all know that a game is totally different. If you're 1-0 down and you're coming into a game that in the last 10 minutes or whatever, you are going to be attacking the Stretford end as it was on Thursday night. You've got the crowd behind you, spaces start to open up. A game is totally different at 0-0. And against Brighton, in particular, this will be a totally different challenge. But Zirkzee's attributes at this moment in time do outweigh Højlund. So if he does start, I would expect him to be that all-action guy. We can get the ball into his feet, let him, control it, get on the turn. And then we've got other players in this team. Obviously, Dalot will be back for this game. So you would expect Ahmad to be in the 10. And for the latter stages of the midweek game, that Ahmad got that the hat-trick, he was more or less playing a lot further forward. He wasn't expected to do his defensive duties. And you do take something slightly away from Ahmad when he's playing at right back, only because he's that good when you play him in the 10. The Ivorian Messi, that's what he is. And he's much more effective when he doesn't have to do the duties of tracking back. So I would expect Ahmad and Bruno Fernandes to be playing in the 10. I don't think Garnacho will start, whether that was an experiment or what for that moment in time. I would be expecting a hell of a lot more from Ugarte and Mainu as the two players in that midfield that would sit in front of the defence. I think the team more or less at the minute, barring the Zirkzee one, let me know in the comment section, would you start Zirkzee over Højlund? I think there'll be a lot of people in favour of starting Zirkzee. I think there's a big shout from the fan base, but it comes down to the manager, doesn't it? And this is up to Ruben Amorim. It's another home game, another game at Old Trafford. Again, we seem to be a bit better out on the road, don't we? I can't get my head around the stigma of playing at Old Trafford at this minute in time. But Yes, I mean, it's going to be a difficult game. Brighton, it's a cliche saying, but there is no easy game in the Premier League, and we have learnt that big time this season. But we need to have a strong finish to the end of the season. Is it asking too much? If we do manage to get the 3 points to get a performance as well, I think we will not be able to play anywhere the levels, the drop off midweek against Southampton, against this Brighton team, because we will get our arses absolutely spanked and slapped all over the place. Brighton, really, really decent team. And again, if you were picking a combined 11, there's only probably a few players out of that team. João Pedro, Danny Welbeck, when he's on form, would get in, the United team. He'd certainly be in the United squad. Had a really good start to the season. Mitoma is another one. I'd love to see him at United in terms of a player that's playing for the opposition today. But we will have to see, won't we? So stick around on the United stand. You've got countdown to kickoff coming up. You'll watch along on the fan forum. You don't need to go anywhere else. You really don't. Make sure you stay here. And I did just want to give a quick, obviously a very, very sad day on Friday when we all heard the news, very sad news of the king of the Stretford End, Dennis Law, sadly passing away. Not been well for a while, but that's the holy trinity now of Law, Best and Charlton that have sadly left us. But great memories. Absolute, what a player, the three of them when you think what they brought to Manchester United. But condolences obviously to Dennis Law's family, and I think it will be quite an emotional day with that in mind. But yes, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm for Man United today against Brighton. Come on, I do this for good luck every week, but let's hope it brings some good luck. Have a good one, everyone. Enjoy the game, drink in moderation, and don't do anything I wouldn't do for United against Brighton. It's a cover! United! Hey!